First up will be a gentleman by the name of Will Dove. Mr. Dove is the founder of the Iron Will Report and Strong and Free Canada, grassroots organizations dedicated to recovering rights and freedoms, providing factual data and expert testimony on government overreach. Please help me welcome with a warm round, Will Dove.
Yeah, I hope I'm not going to get in trouble with the tech guys, but I don't like something between me and the people I'm talking to, because the truth is I don't give speeches, I just talk to people. Thousands of years ago, mankind invented agriculture, and it revolutionized us, because suddenly one person could grow enough food for many people. So that freed up other people to do other things. And they became artists and philosophers and teachers. And from that came civilization. Because when you had a whole bunch of different people doing different things and it all came together into a whole, that's what you ended up with. And when those people in that civilization started working together to create a system that would protect everyone, that's called society. Hang on to that idea. We're going to come back to it. Now, I want you to imagine what would have happened 3 years ago if mainstream media had told people the truth. It might have sounded a little like this. In today's top story, our investigative reporters have discovered that the COVID-19 pandemic is a sham. It's a plot by wealthy industrials, many of whom are members of the World Economic Forum, to transfer trillions of dollars of wealth out of your hands into theirs. The COVID-19 virus was manufactured in a library, in a laboratory. Thank you. That's why I don't give speeches. In a laboratory in Wuhan, China. It's highly transmissible, but not very virulent, and so there's nothing to worry about. And all these cases you're hearing about, those are coming from the misuse of something called the PCR process, which was never designed to be a diagnostic tool. And so therefore, you don't need to worry about it. Our journalists became suspicious when we found out about the government's plans to shut down everyone's businesses. Well, not everyone's, just your businesses. Their businesses got to stay open, like Walmart and Superstore. And we realized this was counterintuitive, because if you're really trying to stop the spread of a virus, it didn't make any sense to keep the big businesses open. It should have been the other way around, to limit people's contact. And so we would advise you to ignore the government mandates and to go about your lives as normal. Now hang on to that idea, because we're going to get back to that one too. Not long ago, I interviewed 3 young people who are members of Over to the Youth. Over to the Youth is a group of young people who meet. They're from around the world, and they meet regularly to discuss what's happening in our society and what their generation can do about it. The 3 members of the group that I interviewed were Rain Trozzi, the founder, the son of Dr. Mark Trozzi. Many of you know that name. One of the more active members of the group, Evelyn Dove, my own daughter, and one of the young people you're going to hear speaking this weekend, Madison Holmes. And so I asked her, because I said, well, it's pretty obvious why Rain and Evelyn are here, given who their fathers are, but Madison, why are you here? And she said, because my parents know the truth of what's going on, and they've made certain that their daughters know too. So what we have here is a group of young people who are taking action based upon truth. Now let's look at the opposite side of that spectrum. Let's look at the woke youth of today, who are buying into this whole woke philosophy of transgenderism and critical race theory and colonialism. And what are these people doing? Well, they're screaming and stamping their feet and throwing tantrums and demanding that we fix their imaginary problems. And when you have people who draw from the society, but they don't put anything back in, that's called a parasite. But does that necessarily mean these kids are bad? Well, I have some perspective on that. Because while our daughter, Evelyn, knows the truth and is working to contribute, sadly, our 19-year-old son bought into the woke agenda. And through him, I met a number of his woke friends. It wasn't hard to spot them because they would come to our house and they would insist upon being called they. But the conclusion I drew from meeting these kids is that they weren't really bad kids. They were just misinformed. They'd been lied to. And they were making decisions based upon bad data. Remember that old computer acronym, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out? When people work from bad data, they make bad decisions. So, why are all of you here? Well, you're all here because you know the truth. And the truth has enabled you to be empowered to fight against the tyranny. And you're here to get more truth because you realize there's power in that truth. Now, you're also contributing members of society. I don't need to know you to know that. I know you're contributing members of society because you're here. So you're doing your part to make our society better. But you need the truth. Now, I have a team of volunteer researchers who work to help us find information. My wife, who is supposedly retired, works about 30 hours a week. 3 years into this fight, I still work 80 hours a week. And a lot of that time that my team and I are putting in is to produce one 40-minute counter-narrative news report every week and 2 interviews. Now, you guys need the truth, but you don't have 150 hours a week to put into finding it, do you? So let's get back to that agriculture. One person can grow enough food for many. Independent media. One group or one person can provide the truth for many so that you guys can digest that truth in a tiny fraction of the time that it took my team to find it and put it together for you. Which frees you to go out and do other things to contribute to society based upon that truth. And when people contribute to their society, the society grows stronger as long as those contributions are based on truth. So here it is. You're all here because you're looking for ways to be more effective in creating and renewing our nation of Canada. You're here because you're free Canadians working together to build a stronger society that is founded on truth.